Hi guys, I'm Kayla and I will be talking to you about a solution proposed by Pop Culture Classroom. Okay, so first things first, the problem that I am looking at is a lack of youth interest in education. There's a huge disconnect between students and what they are learning, especially in grades K through 12. Also in high schools, absence and tardy rates are increasing each year. Kids prefer to go out and play with their friends as opposed to sitting at a desk and doing their homework. How Pop Culture Classroom proposes to help is that they talk to students and children in general and find out the types of things that they like. Then they use those topics to help educators mold lesson plans that teachers can then incorporate into their curriculum to help promote an interest from students. They also propose a good way to help with this issue is to help raise awareness of the problem at hand and to gather funds for schools to use, because not all schools can afford to use a lot of resources on a lesson plan that may seem frivolous at surface, but really has those deep, engaging links that can't be seen necessarily at first glance. What Pop Culture Classroom is a nonprofit that helps to build student interest by incorporating comic books, graphic novels, all sorts of other different types of pop culture media into educational resources that teachers can use. For example, there's one on their website that is about William Shakespeare, and it goes through a whole lesson plan involving that. There's another one that uses a board game for teachers as a way to have students engage with a topic at hand. And that one is you can use it for all sorts of different types of things. Besides just making those lesson plans, Pop Culture Classroom also helps by providing funding and resources. And how they do that is they are actually the main runner of the Denver Comic-Con, which is the fourth largest Comic-Con in the States, at least as of last year, as well as the largest non-for-profit Comic-Con. And they have panels that educators can go to learn how to incorporate these lessons. Parents can also go to those and learn how to help their student engage as well. They also have tons of booths and activity centers set up for students and younger kids to use at the convention floor as well to help gauge what students are finding interesting. I really like this solution in that it uses knowledge of the problem as part of the solution. Through the panels at Denver Comic-Con, through gauging what interests students, they really hook their knowledge right into the solution itself. They also really look at the knowledge of the students, the local knowledge of the students, and what they are interested in and what they want to learn. This solution definitely has a weird slant, in that is very unique to a westernized first world. Other nations may see education as an honor that they get to go to school. They're very proud when they bring home grades to their family. Whereas here in a westernized first world, it's kind of a chore for students. They would rather be out with their friends than, taking a test or doing homework. So that is something to consider when looking at the solution, that it would not be a universal solution for other areas that don't have the same type of local community. For power structure and agency, the biggest aspect of that is part of this issue is the classroom structure. Students are sitting in their desks, separated from what they're learning and their teacher. They also don't have a lot of agency in what they're being taught or even the subject matter that they're learning. Later on in schooling years, students can pick and choose their own classes, but they're still not able to pick the topics in those classrooms. What Pop Culture Classroom proposes is that by allowing students to pick the topics or subjects of what the lessons will be about, it'll really help drive their interest in them. The Elbury Center for Teaching Excellence actually says that for a student to have interest in a subject, it needs to tap into what they like, which is exactly what Pop Culture Classroom is wanting to do. They want to engage students with lesson plans that engage them actively in the learning. For instance, one of the lessons is that they use writing comic books and drawing the illustrations in there as a way to showcase writing a story. and gauging literacy through reading comics instead of just books, because some students may find comic books more engaging and easier to read. I really like this solution in that it has a really good grasp on what the kids are specifically wanting and what they need. One critique of it is, though, that even though there are other communities involved, like the parents, the teachers, the administrators, and the students, they're not really given a huge part of this dialogue in how to solve the problem or how to come up with these lesson plans. The kids are, in that they're the ones who are being asked what they like, but the teachers and the parents and the administration isn't really involved in creating that plan. This lack of involvement may lead to retaliation from the schools and parents, but Pop Culture Classroom, if they become aware of this issue, can quickly and efficiently incorporate a dialogue session, maybe like weekly meetings with local teachers that are engaging in the program, or even monthly if weekly is too much. Another good thing about the solution is that the modules that Pop Culture Classroom prepares are super easy to adapt to other lesson plans as well. For example, their board game one I was telling you about earlier can be used with history or science. It's very flexible in the fact that it can be used for different things. Overall, I think the solution is actually really good and super beneficial to students and can have great impact on their interest in their own education. Okay. And that was pretty much the solution for Pop Culture Classroom, guys. Have a great day.